there, neighbor. Welcome back to Beyond ARTV. I'm John, and it's time for the first episode of Dear John of the new decade and the new year 2020. It's new year, new me, same show, but new questions. If you've never watched this show before, then Dear John is where I take a detailed viewer question that you guys leave in the comments section, starting with Dear John, of course, so that I can find you, and then I answer in video form if it needs more context, explanation, if I need to fully flesh out my stance or opinion on something and can't do that in the comment section alone. We've got a viewer question today that really piqued my curiosity. I'm the curious cat, and I wanted to talk about streaming, rights, competitors, and buying physical media, and the scary future of music. Oh no, something else to worry about. Great. But seriously, thank you, Mega Ascension, for the comment. We're gonna get right to it. If you enjoy this video today, then help a guy out. Hit the like button and subscribe. If you happen to be new in town, join the neighborhood. Let's get to Mega Ascension's question about music streaming and competitors in the future. Dear John, a few months ago I began collecting CDs and vinyl. People my age think I am crazy due to streaming being a thing, but as I watch what is happening to Netflix, where companies are making competitors, I can't help but feel the same thing could happen with music, where you have to pay even more to stream albums, and everything like that. What are your thoughts on this in the near future? Imagine just for a second, a bleak future where the streaming companies basically have us by the balls and they can just drag us one way or the other, and they could say jump and we say how high? Yes, we'll pay $25 a month. Whatever you say, because the streaming gods have us at their mercy at this point. Now, you've thought about that future, and now take off the blindfold and realize that the future is now. Oh! Okay, I realize I may have oversimplified there, and maybe the tides haven't totally turned. Physical mediums are doing well, from cassettes for whatever reason. Vinyl is booming again. Even CDs, they're still declining, but people are buying them somewhat, and I understand why. I actually really like that format. The quality is pretty superior to a lot of stuff that you're going to hear. Music streaming has gotten really complicated, and obviously competition is good, but at the end of the day, it kind of distracts us from the music, right? If we start sitting around all the time thinking about, all right, the benefits of Spotify versus Deezer and Tidal and Apple Music, but let's be honest, we're only really talking about Apple Music and Spotify, because in comparison, the subscriber counts for those other two and the other guys out there, they're just straggling along in comparison. The heavy hitters are doing well. Spotify is leading the charge with well over 100 million paid subscribers. I think Apple Music is in like the 70 millions, even closer to 80 million at this point, and those are unfathomable numbers. Those are huge counts, but at the same time, Spotify in particular, I mean, they've kind of bled out cash the majority of the time, and they've started to turn around. They're finally getting some profits, it looks like, but can they keep it up forever? Time will tell, and I guess competition is good, but that price point, don't expect it to stay so low at $10 a month forever. Let's get to the real heart of the question though, because we're talking about competitors, and we see Netflix and all of these other streaming services popping up for TV and film, but we have to remember that's a very different medium than music. There's a bigger budget behind most of these things. I mean, I don't even want to know what it costs to make everything from The Witcher on Netflix or movies like Pacific Rim. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars. And albums, they don't cost that much to make. I mean, they can if you really drag it out and don't know what you want, or have a ton of really talented producers on it. But it's a very different format, and the biggest difference is that every artist wants to be available on every platform. You see them release something and they're dropping the Deezer links, they're dropping Apple Music links, Spotify, everything. They just want you to stream it no matter what. And obviously the streaming services for music want to have everything. It's not something like Hulu or Netflix or Disney Plus where you're like, I have to bounce around between streaming service to streaming service. I have to get all three. Right now, you could just get either Apple Music or Spotify or Tidal, I guess, if you want to jump on that sinking ship at this point, and you're set. Imagine if Breaking Bad was on every streaming service. Wouldn't that be crazy? Our minds can't really comprehend that, because since like maybe the early 2010s, it hasn't been that way. All of the rights are getting snatched up. HBO Max is spinning off their own streaming service for Warner, and then you got Netflix getting the rights to certain things, and then Hulu's got other big properties. It's all crazy, chaotic, and then you've got music where they're just vying for your attention, because music overall is the underdog. Music may continue to see other rivals, other competitors popping up, but here's my bold little prediction. none of them are going to thrive or survive. I don't even think Tidal will be a thing by like 2022 or something like that. Maybe even sooner. It's just kind of imploding around itself. And is that sad to see? In a way, sure, but the heavy hitters are still up to the plate, knocking it out of the park seemingly with all of the subscriber counts. Spotify, Apple Music, I mentioned underdogs a second ago. I think Spotify is obviously still the underdog because they don't have all of the extra cash that Apple has at their disposal. They're sitting around over there, Silicon Valley, wherever the hell else Apple is, all over the world, and they're like, oh sure, throw a few more $100 million into Apple Music, keep it going, get Taylor Swift to promote it, whatever else we need to do. They can hang around, and even though they're not winning right now, they could easily be winning 5 years from now, and it's all going to be a matter of if Spotify can keep it up. Can they keep getting new subscribers, and can they turn a profit? Okay, so maybe you've stayed on the same page as me so far, but you're wondering why I've brought up all of these things. Is it important to even talk about that when we're actually talking about the scariness of a future where we don't actually own anything? Well, I'm getting to that. Now, here's the thing. In the past, we were used to, in like the 90s or the 2000s, I'm a 90s kid myself, you go out and buy an album. You spend like 10 to 15 bucks on it, or if you're talking about vinyl, then you're spending even more, maybe like $20 to $35 per album. And now on Spotify, you are getting every album you could ever consume, every single, every EP, for $10 a month. And obviously, that seems like way too good to be true, but everybody's gone for it, like a donut at the end of the treadmill. It makes sense. Of course, I subscribe to Spotify. I used to be an Apple Music subscriber, but I just decided that I didn't need to spend the money on both. Why drop 20 bucks a month when I'm really mainly only using one, and I find Spotify to be more convenient, but that's a preference thing. But think about this. Now that they've got us on the line, and if they can knock out some of the other competition in the next few years and it's really just Apple and Spotify going head to head, they can start cranking those prices up. And by the next 5 years, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like 20 bucks a month. And people should obviously still jump on that. That is still a crazy good deal, as is Netflix. I know they've had some price hikes, but the fact is, we're entitled to not have to pay at this point, and that is what makes it scary. Most people out there aren't even aware. They don't even think about the fact that they could listen to anything for so cheap. They even complain about the 10 bucks a month, and they're like, why can't I get the student price anymore? Bitch, try growing up 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. If you wanted to get all of your favorite music, you were gonna have to shell the hell out. Put your money where your mouth is if you say you like this artist. And that's why I still like to purchase albums that I really like or else love. I've got a pretty big collection of the physical format, whether that be CDs or actual vinyl LPs. And I appreciate that format not only because it's cool to hold that physical product, but because someday they could just say, hey, well, you know what? We didn't renew the rights to this band. No longer are the Strokes gonna be on our service because we couldn't come to an agreement. I think Tool fans out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You went through that pain. You know the importance of having physical copy. I can't say, well, drop the ball there. You know the importance of having physical copies. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that Tool fans were the ones that really had to hold out the longest, or else maybe like Garth Brooks. Is Garth Brooks on streaming yet? Consider it a casual warning from your old pal over here at ARTV. I'm just trying to say, look, maybe this isn't going to be this good of a deal forever. And when the prices do inevitably go up, don't say you didn't see it coming or else you weren't warned. And even if you were paying 50 bucks a month and you're listening to at least like 10 new albums a month, I mean, you're essentially paying still way less than you would have in like the 90s or the early 2000s or whatever, when you basically had to do that for everything. To recap everything and a quick little roundup right here at the end, essentially, I think it's smart to buy physical copies of things that you really do like, because who knows if they'll always actually be on streaming services? It's like a TV show. I mean, Friends just left Netflix at the end of 2019, so now I need to go out and buy the DVDs or the Blu-rays or whatever if I want to be able to watch that show in the future, because right now, I can't do it unless I visit the Pirate Bay. I'm not saying that pirating is ever right, but I do understand it because people just get so confused if everything is scattered, and I don't want that to happen to music because, again, it divides people. I do think that it's smart to go out and buy yourself a copy of something, and while there will be more competitors likely in the music hemisphere, I don't think most will be very successful. So keep your eyes on Spotify, Apple Music, and their numbers in terms of revenue in the coming years. and that's going to be our future. And I just hope that somebody out there actually cares about the fans that's working at these companies, and I'm sure that some do, but I hope that they keep the fans in mind. That's all. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of the Dear John Q&A. If you enjoyed this video, then do me a favor, join the discussion in the comment section down below and leave a like on this video. If you want to be featured in a future episode, then leave a question down below, starting with Dear John. Other than that, you can catch up on the full playlist by tapping here, or tap here for another recent video on the channel. Socials in the description, and I'll see you soon for more on Beyond ARTV.